So to kick off this show on a Monday to talk about this and much, much more from this off-the-rail crazy press briefing, I figured why not invite my friend Ryan Shead, very popular left-leaning podcaster, joining us right now on the show. Ryan, it's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I get more popular every time I come on here, so thank you.
well, I always love it when you come on, Ryan, and I really appreciate it. It's not like we don't have a lot to talk about today.
Oh, bro.
It's crazy, right? I mean, the
It's
first
insane.
question I want to ask you is, crime in D.C. is down dramatically.
Yep.
This is something that we should all be celebrating. If Donald Trump celebrated that, I'd be like, hey, that's a good thing. And what do you make of the fact now that you have Kash Patel up there that says, yeah, crime is down. Yeah, that's true in D.C., but yet he's bringing in the National Guard? What do you make of this, Ryan?
I mean, it's a power play. From where I'm standing, there's no other way to really look at it. And I want to remind folks, too, there's been some dry runs here. Okay, he gassed people for a photo op in front of a church with a Bible. January 6th was the dry run, and we as Americans failed to hold them accountable. And now all the people that were like, well, the Constitution will stop him. This man doesn't care about the Constitution. Okay, that's not going to stop him. So for me, I think this is just a show of I'm not leaving in 2028. We got video of him passing out Trump 2028 hats from a merch store inside the White House. Like, it's not a joke. It's not trolling the left. And more importantly, if you think that we need a president running the most powerful country in the world with the nuke codes trolling the left by having these Trump 2028 hats, like, you're insane. Like, you've lost the plot.
I completely agree with you. My concern, and I'm sure it's yours as well, Ryan, is that this isn't just going to be happening in D.C., that, he's going to do what he did in L.A., which, by the way, I think we all could agree was a waste of time, a waste of resources. It was completely unneeded. And now we're learning that the mayor there in D.C. and local law enforcement weren't even told that he was going to be bringing in the National Guard.
Yeah, they weren't involved at all.
And
again, so how do we, we're going to kick abortion back to the states and we're going to let the cities run the city. But all Trump's been doing for the last month or two is showing us that he wants the federal government to intervene in anything that doesn't go as planned for his agenda. Yeah. Do you think that's fair to say, bro?
Absolutely. I think that's fair to say. And it just amazes me that, Jeanine Pirro and Pam Bondi up there with Kash Patel, and they know what he's spewing is absolute
Fox
BS.
News administration.
Yeah, it's insane. It really is. It really is, Ryan. You're right about that. But what's even more dangerous, and we talk about the word dictatorship all the time, and people on the far right think we're crazy for bringing that up. Well, what else would you call this? Why are they bringing in the National Guard other than to treat homeless people like they're not human beings? What? Really, I can't think of any other reason why. And in this press conference, he called him Gavin Newscum again. Pritzker, he's insulting other people's bodies for being obese when this man we all know is morbidly obese himself. Yep. I mean, I don't even know what I watched this morning. It was so off the rails.
Yeah. I was really focused on the National Guard. I didn't get to see any of the clips from this morning yet. I just want people to really focus on what's happening here. And that is, we have a president of the United States who stood up on a stage on the 4th of July when we should have been celebrating our country and said that he hated half of the country. He hated Democrats. He hated liberals. He hated anybody that didn't go along with his agenda. So if that, again, is not a huge red flag, we need to remember the president of the United States is elected to represent our country, not just nationally, but on the international stage. This man does not represent everybody in our country. Like, he doesn't even represent half the country. We need to get leaders in here that actually care about us, because this dude only cares about himself, and this is about control. It's about showing that he can and will shut down a city, that he can and will use any kind of military that he can get his hands on, whether it's the National Guard, whether it's active duty. This man does not care. I need you all to understand that the Constitution and the military are not going to save us. He has spent the last 6 months appointing loyalists to every level of the military and in the the Pentagon that he can get. And Pete Hegseth is the biggest loyalist of them all. So if you think that anybody in that chain of command is going to jump in and save us and stop him, especially after watching how everybody got nuked after the January 6th committee hearings and how everybody that went against Trump was discredited and attacked, yeah, I got a big plot of water in Arizona that I'd love to sell you.
Yeah, and you know what's even more ridiculous about this whole situation is, you know, Donald Trump is the first guy that usually gloats when he has a statistic that is in his favor, and actually they have one. Yeah, it's the last 2 years, but crime is down in D.C. over the last 2 years. The evidence speaks for itself, but Donald Trump was speaking today like crime is up, and it's not. Crime is down. So I really can't put anything into this with logically why he would do this. Why do you think he's doing this?
Well, I wanted to go back to what you said a minute ago, and it's the homeless or the unhoused. And he said that he had a plan. Oh, I have a plan for these people. We're just going to move them far away from D.C. Okay, well, what's your plan, sir? Please outline your plan for helping these people, because a lot of those unhoused people you speak of are veterans.
Right.
So what is your plan for helping these people? Because just getting them rounded up and arresting them isn't going to do anything. Now, if you look at it from a privatized prison standpoint, then it kind of starts to make sense, because then they're going to get paid for putting these folks in jail.
Yeah. And, you know, I see this as just a little showmanship and just Donald Trump acting like, as they call him, Superman, which is absurd, you know, just sticking his chest out.
AI should not be allowed to do that. They should not be allowed to make those videos.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, those AI videos are something special. Let me tell you. Yeah. But I mean, you know, when we haven't even touched on, you know, Vladimir Putin, and I wanted to get into this with you because, first of all, multiple times in this press conference, Donald Trump said he was going to Russia to meet Vladimir Putin. No, dummy. He's going to Alaska, not Russia. Number two.
Did he give it back?
Yeah. And then number two, he was more harsh on Zelensky again today than he was Vladimir Putin. Every single time he says that Putin wants peace, there's another airstrike. And he was more harsh on Zelensky again today in this press conference. I find it so despicable that you have Putin and Russia, who invaded this country, our allies, and yet he still puts a lot of the pressure and a lot of the criticism on Zelensky, who's done nothing.
Yeah. Well, and let's go back to what he said. Oh, we need to have a diplomatic solution. And Zelensky and everybody with a brain told this man, like, we've tried diplomacy with Putin. Like, we've signed ceasefires with him. We've signed deals, and he always negates them. He always breaks them. So respectfully, this isn't going to work. Your plan, what you think needs to happen, I'm speaking to Donald Trump, is not going to work, is what a lot of people have been telling him. And now after saying, oh, I don't like what Putin did. Oh, Putin shouldn't be doing that. Like, he's been trying to make it look like he's not a Putin puppet. But today he just showed that he absolutely is.
There's no question about it. He proves it every day. He proves it every single day.
As much as he tries to hide it. Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, didn't the deadline for China, didn't that happen yesterday? Am I wrong on that? It's funny. Now he's praising China. He's praising China now, but there's no deal made there. He does the same thing with Russia. No sanctions there. And then they wonder why we call him Taco Trump. He proves it every day.
Yeah. Well, and again, I really don't like I don't like the position of let's bully everybody. Let's bully everybody economically until they bend knee, because at some point that is going to backfire on us. It may be after Trump's long gone, but at some point the relationships that we are literally destroying, like, this dude is literally destroying this just to make himself look good in an attempt to get a Nobel Peace Prize. Like, he doesn't care what he destroys in pursuit of those things.
Yeah.
So we have to keep that in mind.
I don't understand. And we talk about this all the time, Ryan, and I don't understand how at this stage in the game, you could still support this man. Now, I didn't really understand why people voted for him, 6, 7 months ago, 8 months ago. But I really don't understand it now, and I'm losing patience with these people. I'm like, what has he done in 7 months where you can say, wow, I really like what he's doing? And a lot of the MAGA people that I talk to, they always point to immigration. I say, okay, let's talk about immigration policy. Do you think people have the right Do they have the right to due process? Are you okay with Donald Trump changing the language in the Constitution? Are you okay with, people who have lived in this country for decades being ripped from their families that have never committed a violent crime in their life? Now, there's a percentage of those people that'll say yes. We call those people bigots and racists, but that's part of his immigration policy. Some people might like the fact that all these people are being deported. Do you like the fact that some of these nonviolent criminals are being, sent to Alligator Alcatraz or an El Salvador prison? I don't know how anybody could like that unless you're a bigot.
To me, it's so much bigger than that too. It shows their economic ignorance. And what I mean by that, even Donald Trump a few days ago, there's a video out there of him backing off and being like, oh, maybe we shouldn't have rounded up all the farmers that were picking our food and, getting food on our tables. Like, maybe that was a bad idea. Yeah, no kidding. Like, you never should have been going into places of employment to begin with. And more importantly, why aren't you holding the people accountable that knew that they were hiring these folks, that knew they were underpaying them? Like, these people aren't facing any issues. So it's just, in fact, I don't think you have a problem with it. I don't think any liberal I know has a problem with it. If you guys want to go in jails and go get people that are dealing drugs or whatever on our streets, like if they're illegal, yeah, or whatever you want to call them, kick them out. Sure. I don't have a problem getting criminals out of the country. I really don't. My issue is that you are rounding up people with no due process, no warrants, and when we ask for information on said person, like, okay, well, what do you have on this person? They have nothing. And then, like you pointed out, they go and they do some background, like independent journalists, and it turns out, oh, these people are citizens. A couple of them are veterans that got their citizenship for serving our country for over 20 years, and we're kicking them out. Like, and by the way, the fact that we let a felon and a prolific business fraud and an adjudicated abuser make these decisions and have control of the military and think that a business fraud was somehow going to be good at running this country or somehow tell you and I the truth? Come on, y'all.
And it's only going to get worse because they're still saying on the right that this big, beautiful bill actually helps those that are on Medicare, and it makes it stronger. And then, in the next year or so, all these people that are going to be losing their health care coverage, many of these people, I would imagine a good portion of them, voted for Donald Trump. What is going to be the excuse then?
It was Biden. It's going to be the
probably
excuse.
right.
But go on the White House's social media this morning. They put Donald Trump tweeted out that tariffs are making America rich again. And I'm like, no, they're not. More importantly, they're being paid by us, the American people. Like, the left didn't make this up. It's literally the definition. It's the economic definition. Go read it up. Tariffs can be used as a good tool, but when they're excessively used, that's when you start crossing over into trade wars, which is where we're at right now. He's trying to bully everybody. Tariffs are not paid by those countries.
No,
they're paid by us. They're paid by the business. That when the goods come into the country, and then the business sits down and figures out how much they have to add to per unit cost. That means for every unit they sell, they have to add, let's say, 5 cents to every unit to make up for the trade deficit. You and I, as the consumers, are going to pay that 5-cent increase to the business, and he's going to use that to pay the tariffs. It's really
amazing.
that simple, guys.
It really is. You're right, Ryan. It's not brain surgery. It's very simple who's paying for these tariffs. And it's the American consumer. It's our economy that's going to be struggling, and others as well. And it's not going to get any better. Why? Because Donald Trump likes the word tariff, doesn't seem to understand how it works.
Yeah.
And now, we're headed closer, obviously, to the 2026 midterms. Do you believe? And I don't know really yet, because I predicted the last presidential election wrong. I thought it'd be close. I thought Kamala was going to win. I don't know the way America is going to react, but do you think this could be a referendum on MAGA Republicans across the country? Because by the time these elections happen in 2026, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be struggling even more than they are right now. They're going to be losing their food stamps. They're going to be losing a lot of government programs, including Medicaid.
And it won't just be liberals and Democrats.
Yeah, exactly. So, do you think this is going to be a referendum on MAGA Republicans?
I hope so. I think that's the best way I can put it right now. You know, I do see a lot of people that are not happy, whether it's the economy, grocery prices, or the Epstein files. You know, whatever it is that is, you know, sending people over the edge of seeing this guy for what he is. I'll take it at this point. You know, like you said, the 2026 elections are what matter. You know, and I need to be better about remembering that sometimes I have to put aside saying I was right, you know, and just be more focused on you know, making an agreement or getting these people to vote in the way that we need them to vote. Like, I'm not asking you to commit fraud. I'm not asking you to do anything crazy. I'm asking you to stop voting for Republicans because they don't have a spine. They've shown us repeatedly. They don't have the best economic policies, and that is verifiable through
Apologize for that, Ryan.
graphs
Hopefully
and
we will.
data.
Ryan, sorry, we lost you for a second there, brother.
Oh, am I gone?
Yeah, we're good.
Oh.
I don't know what just happened there. I think either
That's
your
weird.
screen froze or mine screen froze, but
Okay.
please start over in
Yeah.
that explanation because we lost you there for a few. Go ahead, my friend.
What was the question? I went right into it.
Referendum in
Oh, yeah.
2026. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. So what I was saying is I hope so, you know, and I need to be better about not being so quick to say I told you so, I was right. You know, we do have to bring these people in, like you said, in 2026, because it's not about being right. It's about bringing these people in. It's about really building a community of Americans that can see that Republicans don't have a spine. They don't have the best economic policies in mind, and just data. Look at the graphs. It shows you that statistically and historically, Democrats are better for the country economically. So,
You
know,
mean we shouldn't pay attention to those charts that Donald Trump shows in the Oval Office?
like when he started shifting through them, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be good." Like, this is.
I mean,
there's
they don't
a
even
Sharpie on the table, this is going to get real interesting.
It reminded me a little bit. The hurricane map that he did years back in his first administration, if you remember that. I mean, really, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how people could pay attention to this and not laugh because it's so ridiculous.
It really is.
What do you expect is going to happen on Friday when Donald Trump apparently meets Putin? According to Trump, he's meeting him in Russia, but we know it's going to be in Alaska.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, hopefully it'll still be ours, you know, when he's done.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the crazy thing. He's telling Vladimir Putin, why don't you just cough up some land? Which is what he's probably going to go tell them on Friday. You know, oh, you need to just give Russia some land so they'll go away. They're not going to go away. You do that, it's going to be like Hitler. He's going to start, oh, I got that land. Time to go get some more. That's the part that Donald Trump and his narcissism doesn't understand. He thinks that he can fix everything and that he can, you know, come up with this deal. And Vladimir Putin's using him like a puppet. You see it, I see it, and most Democrats and liberals see it. So we just need more Republicans to realize that this guy is not helping Americans. He really is more helping Vladimir Putin. And if you don't think that this is some kind of payback for the 2016 and Russia helping Trump win against Hillary Clinton, then I got a bridge here in Arizona I want to sell you.
I'm going to tell you, I think you're 100% correct. I think on Friday, Vladimir Putin is going to ask for a lot of different things. Trump is going to give in to a degree. He's going to call Zelensky and say, hey, Vladdy, this is what you need to give up in order for this war to end. And by the way, even if he does agree, which I don't think Zelensky would, the war would still continue, and you can't go by anything Putin says.
Nope.
But I believe Zelensky knows that, and he will not agree to it. And then what will Donald Trump do? He will continue to blame Zelensky for Vladimir Putin and his evil regime invading our allies. That's what I think is going to happen here. So I don't think there's any end in sight, even though Donald Trump is the guy who campaigned on, I will end the war within 24 hours. And now his excuse is, quote, I was just being sarcastic.
Which war?
Yes, being sarcastic with war. Yeah, just even if that was true, which by the way, I don't believe it is. I believe Trump is so
none
stupid.
Of the wars.
It's so ridiculous. And by the way, last I checked, what's going on in Gaza right now? I am getting more and more frustrated with the Israeli government. And while I support Israel, Ryan, I do not support Benjamin Netanyahu anymore. I do not support the Israeli government anymore. Yes, we need to get rid of Hamas, of course. But it seems like Benjamin Netanyahu and Trump are aligned, and they don't care. And I see the starvation that's going on in Gaza, and it saddens me. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's not getting any better in the Middle East.
No.
It's certainly not getting any better in Ukraine. It's certainly not getting better here in the United States of America.
And I'm really glad you said it the way you did, because, I don't want to say I stay away from it, because I just posted a few things this morning. There was a team, I think it was a media team from Al Jazeera, and they were all killed in Gaza, the entire team. If you see the videos of just the land, the buildings that have been decimated, it looks like Hiroshima after the nukes went off. Like it,
It's horrible.
I know we need to be slightly cautious of, all the information coming out, but I don't know
Right.
how anybody could look at the aerial video, just turn the commentary off. Just look at the aerial video with no
Yep.
commentary, no music, no nothing. Just watch the video.
It's devastating.
You can't spin that. You can't spin what we're seeing. And the fact that we're not okay with Israel going into Gaza and doing it the way they've done it, it's not saying that we don't support, the people of Israel. There are so many people in Israel that are not okay with this, that are just as against Netanyahu as we are.
Yeah.
They're not happy with their leadership, just like a lot of us aren't happy with our leadership. Like you said,
Right.
the parallels between Trump and Netanyahu are undeniable.
Yeah.
So, I just want to say I'm with all the innocent people that don't want anything to do with this crap.
I agree with everything you just
Yeah,
said. And
no, go
I
ahead.
wanted to get your thoughts on something, because I was having a debate, argument, whatever you want to call it. Once in a while, I waste my time with these MAGA buffoons online. I try not to, but once in a while I give in. And you had somebody that is Jewish on my social media who called me self-loathing, because for no other reason other than the fact that I said what's happening in Gaza is terrible.
Yeah.
And innocent children are dying of starvation. Thousands of people are dying of starvation. And one could say that this is a war criminal. This is war crimes that are being committed. Doesn't mean I don't want Hamas to be defeated. And I responded to this person and I said, that makes you complicit. Just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you have to support or should support everything that Benjamin Netanyahu and the Israeli government does. It's insane to
Just like we don't
think
support
just
everything
because
Trump does.
you're born into a certain religion. I'm not even a religious person, but the idea, because you were born into a certain religion, that even if Netanyahu's committing war crimes, which he absolutely is, that we have to support everything that he does, that's insanity. And I will not do that. And I refuse to do that. Hamas needs to be defeated. Benjamin Netanyahu has been terrible for Israel. And there are a lot of innocent people, not just in Israel, that have lost their lives, but there are innocent Palestinians in Gaza that have lost their lives too. And guess what? That's just as bad. And we should be just as angry at that. And that doesn't make me self-loathing saying that.
I don't think so. I think people that aren't warmongers can look at a situation like this and see both sides. Like you said, no, I don't know any liberals or Democrats standing out here going, oh, we should protect Hamas. We should protect terrorist organizations. No, what we're saying is that maybe bombing hospitals, and saying, oh, well, there were tunnels underneath and killing kids and innocent people, that maybe that might not be the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
So again, it's a very, very touchy subject. I went to a town hall here in Tucson, and that ended up being the biggest topic of conversation that riled up the whole place. And even among like-minded people that all voted, I assume, voted the same way, even that topic got everybody going at each other. And it was like, whoa, we're all here talking about Arizona and America. Like, let's calm down a little bit, and just the rhetoric that's going back and forth. It's tough, because in my opinion, on the outside looking in, Netanyahu was being challenged and was about ready to get dragged out of office by the people. And then October 7th happened and all the attention got shifted.
Mm-hmm.
And me being the pessimist that I am, it's really hard not to make the connection of maybe some of this started so that he could stay in power. Kind of like the assassination attempt that we all question over here, and I hate to say that, because it's like, it was a terrorist attack, and it was horrible. Thousands of people lost their lives. There's no celebrating that. There's no hiding that. There's no minimizing that or spinning that. But we also have to look at the politics that's behind all of this, and ignoring that to buy into the rhetoric, I think is a disservice to all the innocent people that have lost their lives on both sides.
Completely agree with you. And I don't think it's going to be getting better anytime soon. That's for sure.
Unfortunately.
Ryan, always love when you come on the show, man. Please plug your
brother.
podcast because it's awesome and how people can follow you and watch the pod.
Yeah, man. So please go subscribe to my YouTube. It's my name, Ryan Shead, Shead. We have 2 podcasts. I have Hold the Mic with my partner, Ian Sherman. And then also we have With All Due Respect. And I co-host that with Marcus Flowers, who ran against Margie Taylor Greene in Georgia. So we're doing big things on there too. We just had Rob Ryersey, who's running in Arkansas 3rd District. We talked a lot about tariffs and how it's going to affect his district because the biggest Walmart headquarters is in his district. So it's a really good episode. Go to my YouTube and check it out. Brother, thank you as always for having me on and giving me a platform. I appreciate you.
Of course, Ryan. Always a pleasure, my friend. And hopefully we'll catch up with you next week. And watch the podcast, everybody. Ryan's got 2 good ones out there. I definitely highly recommend it. Ryan, we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yes,
take it easy.
Thank you.
All right. Ryan Shead, everybody.